Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge, and this is Michael with another review for you of a very interesting game that actually did appeal to me because it is steeped in Italian folklore. The game in question is Enotria, The Last Song, developed and published by Andiamo Games, who are based in Milan. They're Italian. They must be, to come out with a lovely game like this, which really appeals to me. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, I am Italian. I come from the south of Italy. I've lived in Venice for 15 years. So the thought of an Italian Souls-like, which is one of my favorite genres, now that's really appealed to me. So I thought I'd have to try this game out. Now, before we go any further, I need to put something out there to all of the kind viewers that have taken the time to, subscribe to my channel, and those of you that are just particularly those of you that are just passing by. Now, I've had a few comments on my previous reviews, the Exocross one, the Distant, and I think perhaps even Lords of the Fallen, where people have said that I get paid for reviews. This is not a word of a lie. I do not get paid for reviews. I would love to be. If there's a way that I can, by all means, do tell. Share in the comment section. I don't get paid for them. I am a regular consumer, like many of you out there that are watching this video and countless others on YouTube. If there's a game that I'm interested in, I have to buy it outright. I did write to a few developers requesting if they would grant me a review copy, so I could be like a lot of people out there which are lucky enough to have free review copies. I was told that I couldn't because my YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram channel, were not big enough. So, unfortunately, I have to buy them, which is why I don't upload content very often, because, I'm not rich, I don't earn a lot of money, so I have to save up the pennies and purchase a game that I'm interested in, and then bring it to you guys and gals for review. So, now that that's out of the way, on with the show. Now, first of all, there will be no story spoilers. You have to discover that for yourselves, because the story is very well put together. It's very interesting, and the guys have done a fantastic job. It's actually, I would class it as ingenious. And I know, like my previous reviews, it sounds like I'm biased. That's perhaps why people have said, do you get paid for these? Because you're saying these are brilliant, and I think they're crap. Well, what I'm expressing in my reviews and trying to convey is, first of all, how the game plays, what it feels like to me, and whether it's responsive, whether it's buggy, whether it's janky. If I like the way something plays, I've had so much experience playing games. I've been playing video games since the 70s when they first came out, and I've tried every genre. I've owned pretty much every single console that's out there, and I own a lot of consoles now, not just current gen and last gen, but also retro. So I like to think that I know what I'm talking about. So when I express something, it is a personal opinion, and I'm trying not to be biased, but I'm also, I review games that I like because I'm good at playing them, and I can show you whether or not it's worth buying them. So we're going to go into this bonfire. I'm going to call it bonfire just for now. Now, unlike other Souls games, Enotria does not rely on armor. You do not purchase or find armor, which, grants you certain defensive abilities and offensive ones. You wear masks. And there they are on the left side of the screen. Can you see those? So, these are the masks that you acquire. They're masks that are granted to you, and some of them, for example, you have to have constructed. Now, the way that works, early on in the game, you'll come across enemies in a certain area, which will drop fragments of a fisherman's mask. When you acquire enough of them, the mask will automatically be constructed, and you can equip it in your inventory, and you can wear it. Now, if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, each mask gives you certain abilities. So, for example, the fisherman's mask, which is the first one that you come across, is, there you go. Your finishing blows deal more damage if only one weapon is equipped, and so on and so forth. Automaton's mask, you deal more weapon damage through heavy attacks. You also gain immunity to sick while awakened. And you'll discover what that is as you play the game. and so on and so forth. So the one I've got on is Zanni's mask. The reason why I like to wear that one is because it gives you more flasks. Now, bottom left, sorry, underneath the number 15, those are your Estus flasks. They're called Armonia Amber charges in this game. I find it very charming. The bonfires are called Corda Risonante, resonant rope or resonant cord. Essentially, you know, when you first discover them, when you walk up to them, they're just like these tall, luminous bits of string with a little loop in the middle. And it says, untangle not, the way that when you first reach a lamp in Bloodborne and a bonfire in the Souls games, respectively, it'll say light lamp, light bonfire. Here you untangle the knot, and you have your checkpoint where you can warp to different areas by using them. Some of these checkpoints have these anvils where you can upgrade your weapons, and you can also upgrade your masks, and you can also upgrade these things. Now those are your mask lines. I'll tell you what they do. Your mask lines are associated with your masks. They are badass elemental abilities. Some of them are devastatingly powerful, some of them not so much, but I've got some really good ones here, and I'll show you how they work as we go on with the review. So this is one of the first areas that you visit. It's the second or third location, but it's tied to the first area. And here you can see how the developers have gone to town with the architecture. It's quite Tuscan in its appearance. I've been to Tuscany 2 or 3 times. Now there's a reason why these guys are dancing in the streets and wearing masks. Everyone that you meet wears a mask, and they do certain things, they tell you certain things. That is tied to the story, which is why I don't want to spoil it, because it's just really cool. So now we're going to travel to a different area, because I'd like to show you something. I'm going to show you now how the combat works, okay? So we're going to go to, let's go to here. Colosseum. Now, when I first started playing the game, my stats were in the 20-somethings. I'll show you what they are now. They're in the 40-somethings. You know, early 40s to mid-40s. So I'm much stronger. But when I was in my 20-somethings, I reached a stopping point with a particular boss, and I put the game down for about a week. I just didn't want to play it. I thought, shit, it's just much too hard. But I picked it up again, and I completed it earlier this evening, about an hour or 2 ago. But anyway, let's show you some combat. Now, there are fast weapons, there are pole arms, there are stabbing weapons like rapiers and sabers, there are massive greatswords like this one. I'm using this pole arm, which I've maxed out to +10. Okay, now what you've seen here, because I kept belting this guy, he didn't have a chance to react, so I put him into a stun state. I've stun locked him. You can do that while you hit enemies, and you can also do that if you repeatedly parry them. So it happens with bosses. If you parry a boss in, you know, succession, which I'm not good at, but this game has an over-reliance on parrying, I will give you that warning. If you're not good at parrying, or you don't like parrying, this game wants you to do it. It'll come to you. I can do it average to below average. See, I just parried him, and I put him into stun. And now, my mask lines are charged up, so let's see how they work, shall we? Yes, they can interrupt your lines. And that one was devastating, wasn't it? So powerful. There you are. So combat is pretty much what you see there. So let's run a little bit further. That was a kamikaze dog. Some of them run towards you and blow up when they get near. See, I've stunned him by parrying. And there you go. Now those critical strikes do a lot of damage. So you do get used to combat, you do get a feel for it, you can perform very interesting combos. It is not janky, it's very responsive, it's very good. On a par with Bloodborne and Dark Souls, quite easily. It's not bad. I mean, nothing's going to be as good as the From Software titles, nothing, because they're just amazing. But this is not bad. This is really not bad at all. Now let's go down here. Let's go down there. Now in the top right hand corner you can see my souls. In the game they are called Memoria, memory. So that's what you acquire if you want to level up. You have to acquire lots of Memoria. Now we're going to go travel somewhere else. Now this is the reason why I started playing the game rock solid is because I found a way to grind, and I'm going to share that with you now. It's still in this area, turf of the coastal horror. So we're going to go there. As you play the game and you get used to it, you'll come to certain areas where when you strike an enemy, you will earn a lot of Memoria, and you can accumulate plenty of it, which will enable you to grind. I hope they won't patch it out, because it really did help me. And this area that I'm in now, I was grinding in it for several hours, 2-3 hours, and I was going up to 300,000-400,000 souls, and I was traveling back to the hub, which you'll discover for yourselves, and I was powering myself up. Now these crabs drop something called valuable shell. The valuable shells are worth 2,000 souls each one. So this is one run completed. So what I did is I ran back to the bonfire, or the very charming corda risonante. I reset. So basically I just rinsed and repeated until I got really strong. So if you go into your loadouts, no, inventory, and you scroll down to the bottom, I've got 20 valuable shells, so they're worth 2,000 souls each. So that pretty much tells you that's what you do. While you're grinding this area, you'll acquire Memoria from the enemies that you slay, plus the valuable shells that you can then sell to the merchant. If there are any weapons that you don't want, that you've tried and that you think are crap and not suitable for you, you can sell those. But it's the shells that will net you the most profit. And this is what I did. So this was the first area that you grind, and because I did a lot of grinding in this area, it enabled me to get further into the game and reach the next area. So you could say that this review has a tip in it for those of you that really want to enjoy the game. And the tip is you can grind. The next area is Spaventa's headquarters. Now, before you get to this particular area, you are going to fight a couple of, mandatory and optional bosses. But because you've been grinding, you're stronger, so you fare much better against them. In fact, the boss that gave me trouble, that made me stop playing the game, I went back to him, and after a couple of tries, I got him. If I were to go back to him now, with my stats the way they are here, as you can see on the left, I'd get him in a couple of hits, 2-3 hits. So let me explain to you the actual stats here. So Bruiser is your overall health, Assassin is your melee attack power, Elementalist is your pretty much arcane power, the spells that you have, Trickster is the stat that governs your stamina. Now a tip here, when you're first grinding and powering yourself up, don't do what I did. I left the stamina to like below 20 and I could barely swing, and each time I parried it took pretty much all of my stamina off, so you have to get it to at least 30. Now Battle Mage is your mask lines, how quickly they charge up and how devastating they are. So it's pretty much like Dark Souls. Oh, by the way, loadouts. If you go down here, you've got your consumables and your throwables. Depending on a certain stat that you power up, it will increase the amount of items that you can carry. But you can't carry as many as, like, Lies of P, for example. There are some, like this grenade, you can only carry 4. I've got up to a maximum of 11 of these throwing knives. And this little item here, you can only carry 2 of. And so on and so forth. So, when you get to Spaventa's headquarters... So, if you look at the top right here, I've got 182,435 souls. So you grind. And you see, it's rising steadily and quickly. So by doing this little circuit, and there you have it. Now, the only reason I've got 15 flasks is because I'm wearing this mask. Other masks that you wear will not give you that amount of flasks, unfortunately. I think the maximum another mask will grant you is about 12, but you start off with, I think, 3. There you go. Oh, you keep bloody still, you stupid monster. There you go. And there you have it. And you just keep doing this little circuit that I'm doing, and before you know it, you've got hundreds and thousands of souls. And you can just really power up. There you have it. So we'll go down here, get this guy here. Then you'll discover that some throwables do some good damage. See these riflemen? Just throw a knife. And when you get to a certain level, you kill them with one knife. Oh, you bastards. And yes, you know, before you get powered up, these guys are hard as bloody nails. There's one up there as well, but just not to make the game last too long. There's a big giant crab with a cannon on its shell here. Ingenious. This little grenade I'm going to throw is called a Flask of Viz. Viz is one of your elemental powers. Throw it. Because your elemental powers are up, one Viz will kill the crab. And there you have it. And as I run towards this area, there's another bonfire. So you unlock them along the way, and the more you play the game, the more you run around, the more you'll remember where they are. And there you have it. So I can level up. I'm going to level up my health. So with these stats, I'm pretty badass. I mean, I wrecked the final boss. I won't spoil them for you, but they come in a couple of phases. But yeah, some bosses have a couple of phases. The more you level up, the more you'll find that you're stronger. this particular build, yeah, it's not even a build. Now, speaking of builds, before I end this rather long review, you can equip up to 3 different builds. So, for example, this is the one that I rely on, where all my stats are. So if you press down on the joypad, you switch to the other build. Okay? Yeah, so the stats are the same, but I've got different weapons that I'm carrying here. Some of them have not even powered up yet. Go down again, and this is the basic guy that you start off with at the beginning of the game. But the more masks you wear, you can assign different masks to different loadouts. And press down again, and I'll go back to the initial guy. So just finally, go here, go to loadouts, and see on the bottom of the screen where it's got 1, 2, 3 in Roman numerals. If you press R2, it switches between loadouts and the different mask lines that I've got, the different weapons I've got equipped, and at the bottom there, the different consumables. I don't know why I'm gesticulating with my hand pointing at the screen. It's a bit like leaning left and right when you're playing a driving game, isn't it? See, loadout 2 is the one I'm using. Loadout 1 is just your basic guy that I'm not really touching. So the thing at the top there, that's a parry stone. You've got different parry stones that you can use. They will give you different abilities, and they'll assist you in your parrying in different ways. So hopefully I've not made you all go too potty with this review. There is a lot to take in. I will grant you that. There's a heck of a lot. And to be honest with you, when I stopped playing the game, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to go back to this because it's just too much. But you do get it in the end, like everything. And like with the Souls games that you've played in the past, like Lords of the Fallen, when you first played it, you thought, I'm going to acquire all of this into my memory. But it does get there. But my verdict, I'd say 7.5 out of 10. Maybe even 8 out of 10. Some of the other environments that you discover become more beautiful as you play the game. You start off with the rather basic one, which is on the shores, and then that little town that I showed you with the people dancing around. Then you reach the area that looks very Mediterranean, very sunny beach, you know, the one where the crabs are. Then you'll reach one that's a combination of Venice and Tuscany and other little towns and villages in Italy and cities that I've been to. It's beautiful. Some of the views are really quite breathtaking. The enemies are very varied. It's a very responsive game. It plays responsively. There is not a lot of jank at all. As you can see, I'm rolling around very crisp. Combos you can just pull off with ease. The lock-on system isn't bad. It's the same as the Souls. You click the right stick and you lock onto an enemy, and by flicking that stick you can switch targets. Dodging is what it is. There is no block. You have to parry, which you saw when I was in that section with the giants. I parried and I got that guy into stun. That's what you do. And your mask lines, keep them for the bosses because you'll need them, trust me. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. If there's anything I've missed out or anything else that you'd like to know, please do leave a message. And for those of you that are new to the channel, please do subscribe if you want to. I'd be very grateful if I could grow my channel to be the best it can possibly be. And I'd say until the next review, my next game is Silent Hill 2 when that comes out. I can't wait. I am a very big fan of the Silent Hill games. And to have a Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be something absolutely tremendous, because I still play the old one. Absolutely bloody brilliant. My favourite horror game of all time. Favourite horror franchise. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. And as we say in Italy, ciao, arrivederci, a presto. Ciao, ciao.